Hi, I'm Quinn Lemley with Secrets of the Stage. This is the place where we pull back the curtains and we dive into the creative process. And today it is going to be all music. I have the fabulous, world-renowned violinist, Daisy Jopling. Welcome, Daisy. I'm so excited you're here.
It is awesome to be here.
So we are both products of Errol Rappaport. We're Errol's girls, right? Our associate producer.
Oh, we are. Errol, we love you.
Yes, we love you, Errol. We know each other through Errol, and he told me how he went to Jamie DeRoy, who was my sponsor for the Friars Club, ironically. She has a show called Jamie DeRoy and Friends.
That's right.
And she's a famous Broadway producer and comedian. And she did a show and you played, and Errol said to me that when he saw you, it was all these Broadway performers and you come out singing with your violin and lighting up the stage. And he said he was so electrified that he had to follow you all the way upstate.
He did. That's exactly what happened.
And I've had the privilege of seeing you at Chelsea Table and Stage and other places and on your videos, and you are electrifying.
Thank you.
How did you get into,
oh my God.
How did you find your passion with the violin?
So, you know, what you said has just brought up so many thoughts, because I do want to say, as a performer, as we performers, the people who are behind the scenes.
Yes, thank you, Errol.
Who make everything we do possible. Our fans, but like this whole team of people.
They think it's just you, or just me, and we have Richard. We have so many people that are supporting us and giving us the oxygen and the chance to fly.
Yes, so I want to say thank you to all of those people. Thank you to our fans. And then the next thing you said is like that electrifyingness that happens to me on stage, because that's been a real journey. So then you said, how did I start the violin? Well, I had a perfect mixture of like my whole childhood life, but those powerful ingredients to let me get really into the violin were, first of all, my aunt, my dad's sister, who is 87, who's still alive.
Oh,
Louise,
God bless her. Louise.
She was a professional violinist.
Wow.
She is my godmother, and I adore her to this day.
Wow.
And my mum tells me, at least she did tell me, now she said she's forgotten, but I'm sure she told me, when I was 3 years old, I constantly said, I want to learn the violin like my Aunt Louise.
Oh, how beautiful.
So my mum finally was like, okay, and she apparently gave me like, you know, like an empty tissue box, like an oblong one with some rubber bands. I'm like, okay, am I really serious? I guess I was serious or whatever.
Of course you were serious.
But then the next ingredient was my mum. We were living in the countryside. I mean,
in England.
In England, by the sea, like if you go up to one upstairs window, you can see one house kind of over there. I mean, isolation.
So how did you did Louise teach you?
Well, yeah, we had music camps, but my mum found me a violin teacher, and my mum, now, I have two siblings, a sister who plays the viola professionally.
Oh, wow.
And a brother who plays the cello professionally.
So you can just do your own little...
We've got our own string trio. And he's a conductor as well. They're both very successful classical musicians. We totally train classically. So there must have been that like perfect, you know, just cooking pot of my mum who, I don't know how she did it, because no child, well, I didn't want to practice, but somehow we practiced every day. So she must have not been like too pushy, but then really
pushy enough.
But pushy enough, because, you know, and I thank her every day. Like, my violin has led me around the world my whole life, and has led me to just feel like I can express, you know, all the stuff that goes on being a human. So anyway, somehow we have my mum practicing with us. My parents... So
your mom plays as well?
She didn't... No, I just mean like...
Oh, she's supporting
kind of like,
you.
go and practice now,
right?
And like, you know, checking. We were... When the tapes came out, we found a way to tape ourselves, and we would play the tape of us practicing.
Oh, right.
Anyway, but basically, she pretty much made sure we actually practiced.
All the old cassettes. I remember the cassettes. I have tons of them.
Do you still have them?
I do.
Oh my God.
I do. I can't let them go.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it later. Yeah. But anyway, so I had this incredible nurturing childhood, and because of that, you know, and my aunt who was a brilliant teacher, yes, professional violinist performing, but a brilliant teacher, and she ran music camps.
Oh, beautiful.
Now, in England, a camp was actually where you stayed in a tent. Like when I came here to the States, you know, and I'm like, oh, your kids are going on a camp? Like, what kind of tent do they got? They'd be like, tent? Anyway, we stayed in tents. But, you know, you can imagine, I went on my first music camp at 5 years old.
Oh, how
and
wonderful.
my aunt would organise like 20 kids in somebody's garden, you know, where there's like a little bit of flat place, so you just put a few tents up. And all the kids, but like 5 years old to maybe 13. So like I'm starting, because I started at 3, but by 5 I was doing a little bit, but still the 12-year-olds were like, as far as I was concerned, like,
rock stars, right?
Oh my God. But I was getting to play with them. Like, so this whole like, the social aspect of playing music, the fact that we were staying in tents with all these kids and like, you know, up all night every night and having the time of our lives.
Right.
And then my aunt would be like, okay, so tomorrow we're learning to improvise. Before breakfast, we're going outside and we're, you know, going to have like scales and, you know, she would like do fun stuff. Or like, okay, after lunch, we're going to learn how to read music and there's going to be a treasure hunt to look for the notes of the music. Like everything was this fun and games and in people's gardens and just like, anyway.
It sounds like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I
music.
looked forward to those camps. I mean, every time I didn't want to practice, which was pretty much every day, my mum would be like, oh, no, so you don't want to practice. Pity, won't be able to go on that camp then. So I was like, okay,
She had
I'll
your
practice
number. She
just
had your
today.
number.
Yeah. So altogether, this amazing childhood, and that has led me to a life of touring around the world for my whole adult life. I started, I played a concert at the age of 14 at the Royal Albert Hall, where I played a Bach concerto with an orchestra to 7,000 people.
Oh my gosh.
Like, so I was already good at 14, but it was, but I had this part of me that really wanted to not just play classical music. Like
you do international music.
Yeah, I couldn't have expressed it back then because I only knew classical music. We had no television and we weren't allowed to listen to anything apart from classical music. So I
listened to Gregorian chants, opera, and I could listen to some Broadway, but no rock and roll. My mother would not let me listen to it.
Where were you brought up?
Indiana. My mother was so, she was like, it's mine. I bought my first Queen album and she said, you have to bring it back. It's mind pollution. And here I am producing a Queen show. It's crazy.
And I've been playing, because I did this album in 2019, so 5 years ago now, because I found out, when I came to the States, I found out about rock music.
I know.
So I was
I'm discovering it now as an adult.
And I mean, same with Queen, like, you know, like literally. Anyway.
But it's symphonic.
Bohemian Rhapsody, I would like sing, you know, under my pillows, like, under my, you know, surreptitiously so nobody would hear me. But yeah, so I did this album of The Who and I told my parents I'm recording like my own arrangements of The Who. And of course they, to this day, you know, well, now they know, but they were like, okay, so they all went and researched who The Who are.
The Who.
And
Who's
guess
The
what?
Who?
And they all called me like in a panic because they're like, well, it looks like The Who, you know, smashed their instruments during their shows. You have to understand, I have a nearly 250-year-old, well, very expensive violin. I was going to say how much. But anyway, a very old violin. And my parents were like, well, I hope you're not going to smash your violin during the show. But anyway, so I was like, I'm not going to smash my violin during the show. I'm playing The Who on electro violin. But just to say that, it was very sheltered. And, but, you know, so a part of me actually wanted to write my own music and wanted to do something else. But it was not even like out there as a possibility, you know.
But you are a composer as well as
when I was a child. But then when I went to live in London, and then I'm finding like, oh my God, and I start playing an African band, and I start writing my own music. The whole thing changed. But it was still only, only when I actually ended up going to Vienna and finding 2 other musicians who were classically trained, very high level, but wanted to play other music. And we would like practice Tchaikovsky violin concerto all day for, I don't know, 8 hours or something. And then we'd meet in the evening and we'd be like,
rock out,
yes. So like, but not even rock, well, we didn't play rock back then.
But you're doing a lot of world music.
That's exactly what we were doing. It would be like, oh, have you heard of Paco de Lucia? He's this flamenco guitarist. Let's arrange his music. Have you heard of Astor Piazzolla? He's like tango. Back then, because we were doing this was 34 years ago. So actually, yeah, well, about 30 years ago. And classical musicians didn't do so much different stuff back then. Like we were kind of like pretty pioneering this stuff.
Well, you're a pioneer, right?
Yeah, we were really, like, I went back to Vienna a few weeks ago and they were all like, Daisy Jopling, you changed my life. Like all these young kids who are now, you know, older. But
well, now they're using violin in so many everywhere.
And all
you have to do the sexy.
All the amazing young, you know, all kinds of violinists, not just young, everything. But basically, yeah, I did. And then we decided, I was in Vienna just for a few months, like learned the violin with this mega famous violin teacher. And then just before I was going to come back to London, where I was going to carry on my career as a classical musician, we decided, me and these two guys, there was a cello player and a violinist, to put on a little concert for our friends in a cafe, 20 people. But people had started to hear about us somehow. And to that we did two gigs for 20 people in two cafes, right? So the first one,
40 people.
So yeah, 40 people.
Right.
A friend of the A&R for BMG came to the concert, and she, Elizabeth Arzberger, was like telling her friend Marcus Spiegel, the A&R for Vienna, BMG back then, she was like, you should go and hear this group. When are they playing? Next week. Okay, so let's go. So he went, and we played our concert, and Marcus Spiegel came up to us afterwards and said, I want to sign you to BMG.
How fabulous.
Now this is a big thing, but like back then it was massive, because if BMG 30 years ago, who were rolling in Dosh, you know, if they put their money behind you, you're going to have a career. But the funny thing was that I was so shocked at the thought. I couldn't get my head around that I could be touring around the world, like living my dream and not playing classical music and playing like stuff that I was right. It was so out there.
But you were following your bliss, you were following something deep inside.
Yeah. But this is so metaphorical for me, because it was not just a paradigm shift, because I remember I couldn't sleep all night. I'm like, what the hell just happened? You know, because it wasn't on the agenda of even realm of possibility. And then it was so powerful, because I actually had to give up living in England, which means my proximity to my family, my language, you know, they speak German in Austria, I didn't speak German, just everything, like give up my world to go and have this, like, you know, signing to BMG. And I thought, I'm not going to do this. So I was given this opportunity, and I said, no. And I came back to London, and I was in London playing my classical gigs going, I wonder if I made the right decision. And finally, how are you feeling about this? Because I'm not sure about it, you know. And they were like, yeah, we're wondering, come back to Vienna, Daisy, let's go and see that guy again. So we did. I went back and we went to see him, and we said, you know, kind of wondering if we might reconsider that offer you gave us. Is it still on the table? He went, yeah. And we signed to BMG, and I moved to Vienna. And I lived there for 13 years, and we toured to 52 countries around the world.
How marvelous.
Because at that point, they would just play you every day on the radio. We made an album, and then every day on the radio. We're getting calls from Japan. We went to Saudi Arabia. We even ended up going to Hollywood and working with Hans Zimmer on a couple of movies and like all kinds of stuff, just adventure after adventure. But then after 13 years of being together every day, you know, sort of, we were like fighting and whatever, normal bands do.
Normal band.
Yeah. We kind of like, we're enough of this. And then I started getting a lot of work in New York City, and I was like, I am not going to New York City. Like,
why?
It's like so far away. I'd have to start all over again. Like, I was doing really well. I mean, I was earning, you know, a lot of money and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll go for 1 year.
1 year.
19 years later, I'm still here. But then the really powerful thing, because that whole thing of me having that nurturing childhood, having music where, you know, being like kind of, I was going to say pressured, but kind of encouraged to practice, you know, all those things that kids don't want to do, and then it's led me to this life. It really made me, want to just, you know, be able to give that back.
Well, and speaking of which, you have the Daisy Jopling Foundation.
Exactly.
And so let's talk about the foundation. Tell us what it is and what you do, because it's so important.
Yeah. I'm so like blessed to do it. It's called the Daisy Jopling Music Mentorship Foundation.
Music mentorship.
Really just because we wanted people to know what we do, kind of. So we have had over 7,000 kids in the last 12 years go through our programs, which are mentorship, which means we have students of actually all levels work with professional musicians and then perform with them on stage.
Wonderful. And where are these kids coming from?
So it's very interesting. We have a few different programs. We have totally free after-school programs for kids to learn instruments who couldn't afford them, and those are all underserved kids.
Life-changing for these kids.
Life-changing for these kids. For the mentorship programs, you know, I didn't come from, you know, particularly underserved background. Like, these are for every kid. I mean, music is a savior for every kid, wherever you come from.
It is.
So
True.
the mentorship programs are open to absolutely everybody. And the kids we've worked so far geographically, I'm living right now in northern Westchester in Peekskill, and that's where the foundation is based.
So where can people go to learn more about your foundation?
So basically, daisyjoplingfoundation.org. It's DAISY Jopling, foundation.org. Everything about us is on there.
Wonderful. And people can donate to you.
They can.
You're a 501c3
We're
company.
a 501c3. I do want to mention that, you know, because what we do in the foundation, because of my journey and me feeling like that moment that I was really given the opportunity to earn my money by creating my own music and really expressing my soul. It's what we want to, so all the kids who come through our programs, we do teach them, you know, improvising and writing their own music and playing different styles of music. Like, my message is, whoever you want to be, you can be. With bells on.
With bells on, yes.
You know, it's like, you don't have to play, because a lot of kids, it's so different now, but still kids are like kind of trained in a certain way. And they're like, well, you can go into the music business and be in an orchestra or be, you know, and I'm like, you can go into the music business and totally create the world you want to create. I have, and so can you.
Right.
You know, and
what a
so,
great message.
Yeah, and they don't have to go into the music business, by the way. Like, whatever business they want to go into.
They could just use music as a way of self-expression.
And they don't have to know today. Right. Because it will be revealed to them.
I love it. It will be revealed like the Great Pyramids.
Like everything is revealed.
Speaking of revealing, you're working on a 2026 tour, and you're embracing the Native American energy. So let's talk about that.
So somehow, even though it started with me just being interested in all these different styles of music, and then also noticing and really wanting to bring cultures together through music. You know, I did a concert in 2023 where we had, you know, Russians and Ukrainians playing in love together, Palestinians, Israelis playing in love together, stuff that, you know,
But we're staying with the love theme. What's the name of your tour?
Oh, actually, yeah. So Celebration of Shima.
Shima.
So I'm working with Native American, specifically a Native American poet called Laurie Neron, who's part Mohawk, part Cherokee. But we're working with a lot of different, you know, tribal influences. And the whole idea of this tour is that we are celebrating the aspects of Native American cultures that have influenced quite profoundly, actually, the United States for 250 years.
Wow.
Because next year, of course, is the 250th year anniversary. And I just felt like this is the time to celebrate those voices that we know about, and we know our horrific history with them, but let's celebrate how how amazing they are, but also show how we have been totally changed by them.
Yes.
And what are the things that we want to embody about their culture even more every day? I mean, I know I do. You know, different ways of the way they really feel
nature,
everything is sacred.
I mean, everything is sacred. We have performed in a lot of the Native American casinos around North America, especially in Canada.
Interesting.
Yes, with my show Burlesque to Broadway, Rita Hayworth, and with Ultimate Queen Celebration and the Bowie show. And the elegance and just the reverence, and the people are so beautiful. I mean, they're some of the most beautiful casinos in North America. And it's their own government, their own culture, and you want to be a part of what they're doing. It's absolutely beautiful.
So I've taken on, I mean, every time I hear you talk or hear people, I'm like pretty daunted, because I'm like, I can't even believe I said I'd do this. But I've taken on this show of, like, you know, because we're going to tour it around the US next year, and maybe we'll start, you know, to really give a voice to the indigenous.
But the casinos would be such a great place for you to do this. I think you must.
It's pretty amazing. I'm like, oh, that's maybe one of the reasons why I'm here, you know, just to hear. So anyway, it's pretty interesting. So so that the power of that, I'm sure it was channeled to me. And my friend Laurie, who's this Native American poet, she was like literally praying for a way that she could get more exposure to the values and music and art of her culture.
How
literally,
beautiful.
I am given this opportunity to write a grant for a specific, you know, like show, which has to be blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh. And I suddenly had this idea. I'm sure she channeled it. So I don't know, we connected somehow. And I'm like, because I'd never, ever worked with Native Americans before. And I actually don't know. I know, like, I have profound influences in my life, but I don't know a lot at all, you know. So I was kind of like, I'm going out on a limb. And I wrote the whole grant application for this thing. Somebody said, we want to write this. I wrote the whole thing, and then I wrote to my friend Laurie, okay, Laurie, listen, you're in this show, you're going to star in this show. I've already put the grant. I hope you agree. She said, of course. This is what I've really been praying for. Like, you're the answer to my prayer.
That's
and
beautiful.
I didn't even ask if she wanted to be in it. I was just like, I've already written the grant, so, you know.
Well, so there it is. You've already put it in motion.
And then everything that's come to this project has been like, you're the answer to my dream. I mean, people have been like, I've waited my life to be in this project.
How wonderful.
Like 2 people told us that already. And,
wow.
And it's just, it's powerful. So all I'm doing is trying not to feel I have to be anything more than I am, because I'm not Native American, you know, but just to feel that I'm going to play my role like I did in Egypt. You know, for we had 120 of the most underserved children who we gave lessons to, and 8 of them were on the stage at the pyramids. It's very difficult to get a concert at the Great Pyramids of Egypt. And these were kids who were from the poorest part of Cairo, who were on stage singing with stars from Egypt.
Wow,
like
beautiful.
You know, it's incredibly powerful. And so I just look at myself as this conduit to, you know, be there. And it's like there's nothing which makes me cry more than seeing these kids like have their lives transformed. You know, it's amazing.
That's great. And give your website again for your foundation.
Yeah. So it's Daisy Jopling Foundation.org, and it's DAISYJOPLING. But I'm sure you can put it in.
And they can visit your regular website and hear your music.
DaisyJopling.com.
You have many recordings
I have 9
available.
albums, yeah, so you can listen to my music. And I'm on all the social media, you know, platforms. And
so tune in to daisyjopling.com.
Come and be part of this tour. Come be part of the tour.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we haven't. I mean, we've the first concert. Actually, the first concert is November 16th, 2025, where I live in Peekskill at the Paramount Hudson Valley
beautiful.
Theatre.
Historic theatre.
Yeah, we haven't put the tickets on sale yet or anything. But
right.
November 16th, so keep that in mind.
Yes, Paramount Theatre.
But we are actually doing.
Peekskill.
We are just talking about something coming up, kind of 2 months.
What are you going to be doing?
March 16th at the Paramount. So March 16th, of course, is the day before St. Patrick's Day. And I'm collaborating. Such an honour. It's going to be so much fun.
Oh, you do all that the Celtic work.
Yes.
That's right, with the dancers and
Yes.
everything. Errol went last year. He said it was marvelous.
Yes. So this time we're collaborating with, they're a group called Cherish the Ladies.
Of course, Cherish the Ladies.
Literally, for 40 years, they're celebrating their 40th anniversary for being a professional band touring around the world for 40 years. They are 6 powerhouse women, mega musicians. I mean, incredible. They're one of the best Irish bands, I think, in the world.
Wow.
And Joni Madden is their leader. She's like, they're all just powerhouses.
Is it vocal or is it just instrumental?
All instrumental and vocal and dancers, everything.
Wow.
Well, they have dancers coming with them on tour. They're just about to do another tour. You can go to Joni Madden or go to cherishtheladies.com.
Cherish the Ladies. I love that.
And they were born 40 years ago, or created 40 years ago, at a time when, as Joni said, you know, Irish music was very male dominated. And they were like, yeah, right. You know,
and now look at it.
We're going to show you.
Yes.
So they formed this mega amazing band. But they're incredible musicians. So we're collaborating with them on March 16th. They're coming to perform with me and my band.
How
so we're going to do
beautiful.
one set, we're going to do another, you know, they'll do their set, and then we're going to collaborate together. And we've got kids coming to perform in that as well.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so that's going to be March 16th, 4 p.m., which is a Sunday. At the if you're up in the Hudson Valley, so it's only an hour from
from
New
York.
From the city.
People can take the train.
Sunday afternoon, it's going to be such an amazing show.
Oh, how beautiful.
So March 16th, the tickets are on sale for that, ParamountHudsonValley.com, I think it is. Anyway, just Google that, or, you know.
And are you working on, other than these projects, are you working on another album?
Yes, I started working on my own album, which is called Courage, but then I got very, very caught up in this Native American thing. So I think actually the next album will be me collaborating with these amazing Native American musicians and creating our music together and releasing that and really selling that on tour next year.
Wow.
But I started working, the first song is just about ready, called Tears.
I can understand. You know, you and I both have had loss of our husbands. Music is the most healing,
isn't it?
Agent there is.
Because, you know, you write a song. I mean, this was actually not about my husband. He died 4.5 years ago, and I've had some other painful love affairs since then.
But at least you've had them.
I've had amazing love affairs.
You've got to ring those bells, right?
It's like, oh, good, my heart's opened up again. Oh, it's crashed again. Oh, whatever. Anyway.
But you have your music.
Yeah. So I like
channel.
The last thing. So yeah, you know, this song talks about how I was, you know, just when I was with him, it was so peaceful. I never could imagine ever that now it's just ended in tears. You know, now all I have is tears. But like writing the song, after an hour, I felt healed. You know, like that's. And I hope people feel it when they hear it. I love that song.
I can't wait to hear it.
That'll be coming out. I don't know, sometime quite soon, maybe.
I love it.
Yeah.
What kind of instrumentation are you going to have on the album?
So with the Native American, we'll have all these Native American instruments and drums and flutes and everything. Honestly, I'm just kind of like starting it. The other one, which I'm still going to maybe interweave it, I'm going to work that creatively out. But the other one, Courage, was actually me kind of layering my violin on top of a guy, Peter Amato. Amato Peace is his producer's name, who creates. So he's like, he creates tracks, but like he's so creative. He lives in the middle of the woods. He goes out and samples all these different crazy sounds and creates all of his samples, and just creates beautiful soundscapes for me to play my violin on.
Oh, beautiful!
So I love working with him. He's a genius. He's so creative, and his spirit is like off the charts amazing. So he'll be working with us anyway on the Native American album. And I say Native American, I mean, let's see. It's all conceptual right now.
Right, I love
everything, but
I love it. We only have a minute left.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about manifesting. You're such a great manifester. How do you let things come to you?
Oh, let things come to you. You just said it, right?
Right.
But it's wow. I mean, I would say it's a really interesting mixture between, if you feel pain, it's okay to feel pain. Like I go so deep. People are like, "Oh, you seem so happy." Yeah, because I really experience pain.
You have to ride
and I'm
the
okay.
wave.
I'm okay, like with that. When I'm in it, I feel like, oh my God, I hope I ever can come out. I hope I can ever smile again. And then every time I do, I'm like, thank God, But like I go there, and so it's like feeling.